Hello and welcome to a new episode of Real PR. Today with me, Lauren Roberts. I've been at Scott Media for just over a year now and this is my first podcast recording. Today I'm welcomed by a guest that I've met through networking. His name is Richard and I will let him introduce himself to you.
My name is Richard Tidmarsh. I live and work in Chippenham in Wiltshire. I run two businesses, Casali Recruitment and the Chippenham Dogwalker and Pet Care Service.
Tell me about Casali. Let's start with that one.
Okay, Casali is a recruitment agency that doesn't specialise in anything. We are a generalist recruitment business who work with a number of different businesses locally and not so locally, helping them to attract and recruit top talent. This could be anything from forklift drivers to call centre staff to welders, stewards for sporting events, van drivers, HGV drivers, literally any industry we will work with and have worked with. The only thing I don't touch is care and anything like that. Mm-hmm. So the care industry is quite difficult to work within if you haven't got the wherewithal and the knowledge.
Absolutely. So where did your knowledge for recruitment come from? How did you start this business, Richard?
I fell into it.
Sometimes the best way.
As everybody does. Who leaves school thinking I want to work in recruitment? Nobody. Who leaves school with anything other than wanting to be a trader? I don't know. So I've been in sales for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. Well, 30 years now. And a large part of recruitment is selling without, nobody realises it really in the background, but you're selling jobs to candidates, you're selling candidates to jobs. You're basically selling at all time. Mm-hmm. I literally fell into it with my background in sales, mm-hmm. And I took to it like a duck to water, and I don't actually see it as a job. This is a hobby for me, which, yeah, I love it. I have a catchphrase, and it goes with, and I have a catchphrase. I have a hashtag ILFMJ, and it's I love my something beginning with F job.
That's a really good way to live your life and work.
Indeed. I just genuinely don't see it as a job. It literally is just a hobby that obviously is a business. And I love it.
Tell me about your other business. So you're juggling two at the same time. Tell me about the
6 months before I started in recruitment, my wife and I don't know how to start this. 12 years ago, we were temporarily fostering a dog. Mm-hmm. And he was eventually taken on for a forever home, at which time we really missed the interaction with animals. We were trying for a baby at the time, so getting a puppy and a baby were always going to be a no-go. Yeah. We weren't going to do it. So we thought, well, why don't we try walking other people's dogs for them? Mm-hmm. With a view of maybe walking one or two a week between us just to keep our interaction with animals and dogs going. We never envisaged it going the way it has gone. And this weekend just gone, I registered and signed up our 650th client.
Wow.
But it sort of snowballed. When we started, nobody was really doing what we did. Mm-hmm. And we were walking dogs in the evening and that was it. And then somebody approached me and said, have you got any jobs with animals? Because obviously at that time I was working in recruitment. Mm-hmm. And somebody approached me and said, have you got any jobs with animals? And typically no, because the agency I was working for didn't have animal roles. Mm-hmm. It was just not heard of. So I thought, conversation between Trish and my wife and I, Trish, why don't we see if we can grow the dog walking? And instead of walking, because we were always asked to walk dogs during the day, which we couldn't do because Trish and I both worked. Yeah. So it was always going to be the evenings. But I thought, well, why don't we try rolling it out a little bit and see if we can take somebody on during the day to do some dog walks? Fast forward 12 years, over the 12 years, we've had 49 people working for us. We've currently got a team of 12, walking the dogs whilst the owners are at work or at hospital or just disabled, unable to walk. So that part of the business grew with dogs. But after a few sort of years, a couple of people contacted me and said, oh, we're going away. Have you got any experience with cats? Could you feed our cats whilst we go away? Or could you? And I grew up with cats. My wife grew up with dogs. So for me, it was quite natural to step into it. Yeah. And now, this week alone, I'm doing 16 different house visits to look after people's cats. And it's just literally, the business has snowballed. Yeah. And it was literally just a happy accident. We had no vision of this happening when we started. Obviously, I'm not going to turn it away now.
No, absolutely.
But we're doing all right.
And
You're right.
so you've basically, you started recruitment in that. You recruited 49 people over your time of running this business for your own business.
Indeed.
So what have
That's a nightmare to recruit for. This business, the dog walking business, is a nightmare to recruit for because everybody thinks of it as a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But they don't realise just how much goes into it, how much commitment is needed, how much reliability is needed, how much communication is needed. They all think of it as nice little jolly. Well, it must be nice to go and walk in. Yes, it is nice. It's not rocket science. As long as you're doing it right.
Yeah.
It is a job. A lot of people don't see it as a job. They think of it as a jolly. And that is why it's so hard to recruit for.
So in terms of the recruitment side of it, what have you learned from the dog walking side of the business to then Casali recruitment? What skills have you been able to transfer over?
It was more the other way, transferring the skills from recruitment to the dog walking.
Yeah.
But it is quite, it's going to sound stupid and you're going to wonder why I'm saying it. But it is quite similar because you're matching people to jobs and you're matching people to dogs. It's all about management of people and finding the best mix and the best fit.
And getting to know people, I suppose.
Yes.
You're asking the right questions to begin with to make sure that you know who you're recruiting for each role.
Exactly, yeah.
So these sound like two really busy businesses to be able to run at the same time. How are you managing that?
I've got a very supportive wife.
Always important.
Yes, very supportive wife, which I'm not only just realising, but yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent as time goes on. It is hectic. I've got so many plates spinning in my head at once. But she looks after everything else. So literally all I've got is my work. I'm so grateful for her.
Yeah.
I probably should tell her more often, to be fair.
Oh,
Does that answer your question? There was more than that, wasn't there? What was
fine.
there?
That's
okay.
fine.
Fair.
So we work with family. It's something that we've done in the last year. Fiona and I. Fiona's my stepmum. And when I first started working with her, I think we both had ideas of what it would be like working with family. And it's been a nice, happy surprise, actually, that I think it works really, really well. You know each other very well. You know each other's sort of quirks and things like that before you get to work with them. Is that something you found?
No. And if you ask my wife, she'd be saying it was a bloody nightmare. I am too excitable. I get carried away. I run before I can walk. So she keeps me level. Well, she tries to keep me level. She has always said that she could never work with me because I'm too bull at a gate. Got this done, do this, do that, do that. And she's more relaxed than I am. My wife and I are chalk and cheese when it comes to business, but she helps me with the stuff that I can't do or I'm not so good at. She keeps me under control. She's got me on the lead, basically.
It's a very good analogy, considering what we're talking about.
Sometimes I escape the lead, but I'm not muzzled, and I don't need to be muzzled.
That's brilliant. Let's go back to talking about recruitment. And specifically, I want to know sort of about, we don't talk about it too much. So me and you met through Business Buzz, networking. What have you learned from going to Business Buzz? So you've been going for nearly a year now. Have you done networking before that?
Yes, I've been to a number of networking events, but I've never really stuck to any of them because networking events like Buzz, and I say like Buzz, I mean meetings, are usually just full of people that want to talk at you to sell you their product. Whereas Buzz is completely the opposite. Buzz, you get more of a feel of a group of people that are there to just have a chat.
Yeah.
I've been to events and they're awful ones where you just literally get talked at. And I don't want to go to those. I just want, and I probably only ever go to Buzz in future because it's more relaxed.
And what's that done for you in terms of visibility?
Nothing. Yet. But I mean, it will happen. We've met. Paul has put me through somebody that's looking for work, which we couldn't help with. I say nothing. At the last one, I was speaking to, you were there. We were doing the bit in the halfway through where we had to do our introduction and say what we do about and do this, that and the other. And the woman stood next to me, had a cat. And I said about I do feed people's animals whilst they go on holiday. And she said, have you got any availability next weekend? So I'm going to see her Wednesday, tomorrow evening, I think, either tomorrow evening or Thursday evening, to discuss cat feeding. So
it's working in different ways than what you expected. But
mainly, the dog walking and the pet care just runs and it just sort of generates its own leads. We're turning away most things now because we're too busy. What I wanted from Buzz was to get Casali's name out there because Casali is new.
Yes.
I've been in recruitment for 12 years, but Casali and a lot of local businesses and hiring managers, production managers and office staff, whatever, they know me, but they don't know Casali. And so I joined Buzz because I wanted to promote Casali. It's not happening yet, but it will. I know it will. The more people know about you, the more name gets out there, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
And I want to talk to you a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about sort of the PR side of this now, because I know from a conversation that we've had, the things that you've been doing with people that you've already spoken to, existing customers of yours and clients. I'm talking about your love letters. And I'm going to call it love letters because that's how I see it in my head and I love it. So different ways of marketing and your customer reach. Can you talk to me about your letters?
Love letters?
I do.
Right, so I've been in sales and marketing. Well, sales and marketing goes hand in hand, doesn't it, for donkey's years. I've been doing it for such a long time that I'm trying to break away from the norm. Mm-hmm. Everybody sends emails. Everybody just does LinkedIn messages. Oh, do you need anybody? It's all rubbish. You're knocking on the same doors. Everybody's going to get the same responses. Mm-hmm. So what I'm always trying to do is think outside of the box. Now, James Dyson, I think it was, that said, I don't want people that think outside the box. I want people that don't even see a box. And that's what I try to do. I want to do things that are breaking away from the norm. It's also known as pattern interrupt, I believe. So one of those things I thought of recently was sending out actual letters, as opposed to an email, typing up a letter, handwritten envelope, putting a stamp on it so it looked as if it was non-business related, and then just send it out to 10 people, follow up with a phone call, etc., etc., etc. I cannot remember who suggested it to me. I think it was an old sales trainer. His name was Jeremy Snell. Brilliant sales trainer, best recruitment trainer I've ever known. Suggested once spraying it with a chocolate flavoured perfume. Not the envelope, the letter. I went onto Amazon. You can buy them on Amazon for £6. It's chocolate stroke vanilla flavoured. So I spray the letter, put it in the envelope, and the idea is when they open it, they get the hit of the smell, and chocolate and sweet makes everybody happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what
sets off all the because it sets off all the happy hormones.
All the happy hormones.
It does.
So I tried that, and I don't know if it worked or not, but it's something I try to do to break away from the norm.
Yeah.
One of the ways I tried to promote the dog walking once, and I had this little brainwave of leave, and this is a secret. Maybe other people can copy. Anybody can copy this because I'm not going to be able to do it again because I'm too busy. But I put a batch of business cards, dog walking business cards, in the pet food aisle of Morrison's, just next to the food.
That's a good idea.
It was worked. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, I don't know if it worked or not, but try to do something different.
You've got to get your name out there for people to give it a go, haven't you? Yeah. And tell me about, so we often say to our clients, you know, the different aspects of the media are changing so much nowadays. And you sort of said there, you need to do something to be different now, don't you, to stand out a little bit. So a big part of the media that we talk about is obviously the radio. We've got podcasts and things like that. You were recently on the radio. You're on radio too. Tell me about that.
I don't know, anybody that's listened to Radio 2 at 20 to 6 on a Wednesday night will know that Sarah Cox does a bunch of fives. So you're on the radio, you're interviewed, then you have to answer some questions. Well, first question was name 5 girls' names begin with the letter M. Name 5 children's hobbies. Name 5. So you get the gist. Mm-hmm. So you have 5 sets of 5 to answer. If you get 3 or more right, you get a Sarah Cox Show mug. If you get none right, you get a Sarah Cox Show pencil. I got all 5 right because that's how my brain works. I'm possibly one of the only people that's ever done all 5. And yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. When I was young, I was dead shy. And this is possibly what's happened. This is possibly what's helped me in my sales career.
Yeah.
Is that when I was in my teens, I was dead shy. I wouldn't say boot or goose. I was nervous at anything. And as I left school and got a little bit older, I thought that I know a way around this. I'm going to try amateur dramatics.
Okay.
Because you get up in front of people, you've got no choice.
Yeah.
And I did that. I just love performing.
Yeah.
And sales is performing.
And that comes from that training that you did to sort of push yourself out of the box a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Get nervous before I do anything, but that just increases the excitement and makes you ups your game. Pre-game nerves, pre-match nerves, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And I think you have to get past that to be visible, don't you? Because you have to be able to put yourself out there one way or the other.
You have to have exceptionally thick skin. You don't have to care about what people think of you. And you just do it. Yeah. Because what's the worst? Somebody can say no. Oh, well. I'm not a stereotypical salesman, even if I do say so myself. I'm very open with people. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm honest and I'm open. And if anything, it sounds like my mum, but if anything, I'm too honest. But what I try to do is try and put people off something. If I can put some, if you were looking for a new role, but you didn't know what to do, and I had a job to offer you, and I said, well, and I would point out all the bad parts of it, so that if you were still interested, There's no nasty surprises.
Using the experience then that you've got from your previous sales career, what have you transferred over to recruitment?
Communication.
Okay.
Massively. My sales background started with concrete, then it went to furniture, then it went to laboratory testing. So there's lots of different products, but it's all the same process.
Okay. And have you found that's the same with people?
Yes. Yeah. Communication is key.
Yeah. And what changes do you think you've seen throughout the recruitment process from when you started to now?
Obviously, a lot more tech involved. I think I started in 2000. Yeah, it was 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It was techie, but it's not as techie as it is now. And obviously, with AI and forms that can be done, so that's the biggest change. At the end of the day, people are still people. One of the things I have discovered is that a lot of people now hide. Whereas 12 years ago, you could speak to people quite easily on the phone. Now you've got a lot of people that don't pick up the phone.
Okay.
Are scared of the phone.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'm a speaker. I'll always be a speaker. I don't like texting. I leave voice notes instead of typing a text. Whereas my colleague Mark, he's completely the opposite. He prefers the written communication, and I think most people do, from what he says. But then that's his view. My view is you get things done quicker if you speak to people on the phone.
Yes.
You can explain things better if you wrote things on the phone. So yeah, there'll always be reason for a phone.
So we were just saying there about sort of the things that have changed in recruitment since you started. And you mentioned AI there. We've also had some employment law changes happening this year. What change have you seen? Have you seen any change happen so far in the recruitment space?
At the moment, the recruitment industry is on its knees, as far as I can see. Our lovely Mrs. Reeves and her decision to increase the national insurance contribution and reduce the national insurance threshold is making companies, from what I can see, nervous and literally not looking to recruit. The increase in the national living wage is one thing. It happens every year as companies get used to it. But the national insurance laws are just ruining companies. There will be a lot of businesses that go out of business for this. I can give some examples. I'm not going to mention any company names, but I know of a local business. They've got 40 members of staff. Their national insurance bill and wage bill is going to go up by nearly £350,000 this year. And there's only 40 people there. It's going to screw so many companies. And companies are nervous to recruit. I believe it will happen. It will pick up again because I think people will see it as the new normal. But I genuinely am confused as to the mindset of the government at the moment. They're saying they're going to try. There's a thing about 18 to 24-year-olds being encouraged back into work. So they're going to get them into work. But where are they going to get them this work? Because nobody's recruiting because of the new... it's just weird. I mean, I'm a member of the public. I'm just a normal bog standard member of the public, as are most people. And surely they can see what the government are doing and screwing everything. It's just weird. But I don't know how much you want of that because it's very political.
It's changes that are happening, and I guess you're going to have to make adjustments in your business.
Yes. With regards to the employment laws, there are some that have come into place. There are some that may be coming into place. Obviously, what you read in the media isn't all exactly correct. There's a lot of scaremongering, lots of clickbait, etc., etc., etc. But at the moment, the biggest issue is the national insurance, as far as I can see it. But it might be different for other industries.
Mm-hmm. So what are you going to be doing in terms of visibility for yourself to get your name out there so that the local people in Wiltshire know about Casali Recruitment?
I don't know yet. I will have another brainwave where I will do something else like writing a letter. I will continue what I'm doing. A lot of people know me locally.
Yeah.
A lot of people know me. So social media tends to be my platform again. People raising the awareness. Mm-hmm. And I sort of cross-sell over between businesses. The amount of times I'll be called to a customer's house to talk about feeding their cat and then find out that they are the HR director of a local organisation that, shock horror, use agencies. So there's always,
You've got crossover. Yeah. And I know you're quite active on Facebook. That's sort of, is that your social media of choice for it?
I'm a dinosaur, let's face it. I'm 50-something. I don't understand TikTok. I don't even want to get involved in Snapchat. Instagram just confuses me. I'm old school Facebook. I grew the dog walking business purely through Facebook. It was only 4 years ago maybe that I got a website. Everything was all through Facebook. So yeah. If it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Exactly.
Although I probably would have found another way.
You found another way. Yeah, all your plate spinning. Got it.
The other thing, I use LinkedIn, but again, I don't know. I just don't see LinkedIn as being that good because it's flooded with recruiters.
Okay.
There's more recruiters on LinkedIn than there are any other industry. And yeah. Again, it's trying to break away from the norm.
And if you could give one piece of advice to business owner looking to grow their visibility out there, what piece of advice would you give them?
Don't be shy. Don't worry about it. I mean, don't worry about what people think of you. Just sing from the rooftops what you do and don't give a monkeys. I don't.
That sounds like a good place that I think we could talk for ages, couldn't we, Richard? We could keep going. So where can people find you if they want to find you on socials and online?
They can find me on Facebook under the name Rich Casali Rec Tidmarsh. They can find me personally, Rich Tidmarsh. LinkedIn, Richard Tidmarsh. Email, Google, you name it, you find me. If you want to visit our physical office, we're next to the cinema in Chippenham. I don't know if anybody knows Chippenham because obviously lots of people will be hearing this from all over the world. But we're a nice little sleepy town in Wiltshire and got a little office.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for being my first in-person guest on the podcast.
You're most welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Real PR with me, Lauren Roberts. It's been great to have Richard on today, and I hope you've enjoyed that. If you'd like to find out more about us, we're at scottmedia.uk, and I'm Lauren Roberts on LinkedIn. Thank you.